Hey, what's up, everybody? It is a Tuesday. It's Rumor and Innuendo. I am Dominic D'Angelo of adfreeshows.com, scoops.com, and brassringmedia.com. Check it out. But you're checking us out right now. It's with Mr. Robert Karplis, WE Creative _ish. Robert, terrific Tuesday for you, man.
What a Tuesday. We miss one day. We miss a lot. I know we're going to talk Forbidden Door. We're going to talk the Raw from Birmingham and other stuff if you really feel inclined to do so.
Yes. Let's say hi to some folks in the chat here. We got Triple E saying, "What's up?" We got Joseph Wade Walters chiming in with Morning Rumor Heads, the wrestling old head. Even if I'm out, I'm one of the few. I want to thank Dom and RVD for discussing the Raja situation from different perspective. It's important to tackle a situation like this from all angles. I appreciate it. Well, thank you, wrestling old head. I appreciate that too. Willie Thornbrew says, "If I was a judge, I'd put Mr. Jackson under the jail." I agree with that assessment, but I guess let's start with that, Robert.
Do we really have to? There's so many great, wonderful stories going on in the world of wrestling that we're going to talk about. So I admittedly did not hear what Rob Van Dam had to say about it. I saw Rob Van Dam tweet that he had a different perspective on it. I'm not going to ask you to fully kind of say everything that he said, but if you want to give just sort of a brief summation of what Rob's position was on this, other than he should be put under the jail, I'm curious.
Sure. So, Rob made a tweet that got a lot of alarms on it, and people buzzing about it because he said that so far he's had Raja's back, has Raja's back. Well, when you dive in and we talked about it, Rob basically broke down that he doesn't have his back, like he's going to fight off everybody from all the million people that are going after it about him and everything like that. And even to that point, he wasn't aware that everybody was attacking Raja for what it was. What he meant was he understood the perspective of how everything led to that. Raja being not in tune with how wrestling works, not being a fan of wrestling, potentially having mental issues that are very, very detrimental and everything to that effect, and him taking out all that aggression, unfortunately, on Psycho Stu and basically committing attempted murder in the ring. Well, from what my perspective is. So Rob went into detail about all that. Obviously, it got a lot of feedback from a lot of people. But that was basically the crux of what he was explaining on the show, Robert. But I did wish I had a legal perspective on it. And I know you are attuned to some of that stuff, Robert, obviously. But and that's kind of what I wanted to get your perspective on and how you feel about this situation and what this could lead to. Because as it stands right now, Raja is not under arrest and there has been no information that he is getting arrested.
So I think right now what they're trying to do is and again, this is all speculative. This is from what I'm seeing from sort of a very much outsidery view on this matter. From what I understand, there was a planned spot. Is that correct? There was a planned instance where he was going to be involved in the show. He was supposed to do something with this guy.
Initially, I don't think so.
But I think that I think right now there's a lot of questions as to what was it a planned spot that this guy was a part of. What I know that he was supposedly provoked. Was the provocation real or kayfabe? There's a lot of questions they need to answer, which is there's a narrative of this where he was supposedly goaded by this guy. He was I saw some instance where he may have been struck by a beer can or something like that. Which, by the way, none of that gives you license to retaliate in the form and fashion with which he did. You shouldn't retaliate in general. But that being said, it does kind of sound like this guy was streaming, that he was invited to the show. He wound up participating in the show. He went into the ring. He did some kind of a suplex move and then threw all those punches. And then they pinned the guy. Right. And this leads to just a series of unfortunate questions, things that we don't really have answers to at this point in time. This obviously never should have happened. Any of the defenses that are being crafted and construed by Raja, by the promotion, are really what they need to be focusing on right now. Namely, was this a spot that went wrong? Was this an untrained guy who there was a plan and it went awry? Was this someone just going into business for himself and attacking another individual? Was he having a mental episode? I know he's claimed he has concussions and might not have been in the right frame of mind, but he was streaming all of this. All of this now exists online. So there's a lot that needs to be untangled. There's police investigations that are going to need to be looked into. There's going to be civil suits that go on here. I know WWE pulled their WWE ID branding from the promotion. I know Joseph Wade Walter says he was told to get a receipt. Again, we don't know how much of this is real, is kayfabe. You know, this is kind of with the blurring of lines that have occurred over the last few years in the wrestling world. It's very hard to tell what is the storyline, what is real, who understands what, and how. And from my own capacity, having worked backstage in shows and being on creative, you have production meetings, you talk through what's going to happen, you talk through what's authentic and real so that everybody knows, hey, this guy's going to be coming from here. Make sure security's aware. You don't want to not smarten up security in case someone jumps the barricade, but it's a planned spot, or you have a plant in the crowd as a fan versus a real fan getting involved. There's always sort of a number of tangible issues that need to be worked through. And you would assume that a promotion that has a WWE ID brand with it, that is run, I believe, in part by Rikishi, would
Correct.
had all this buttoned up. So eventually we will find out what's going on and if there are charges and what those next steps are. The immediate obvious concern is that the wrestler who was hurt is that he's on the mend, that he is doing better, because at one point there were reports that he had initially flatlined. I believe there is a GoFundMe that was set up.
There is.
So, an ugly situation. It's a dangerous enough thing when wrestlers go into the ring in a planned manner. But when you
Mhm.
have these incidents, whether it's someone who was untrained and went into business for himself, or just did something and it went awry, whatever it may be, uh, this is sports entertainment, but there is a very real, very tangible danger that exists. And any time in the past, there have been stories of folks going into business for themselves, throwing live rounds, what have you. It's never greeted positively. So I think that's probably why people got up in arms about what Rob had to say.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that was a big issue of it all, and like what we boiled it down to, a lot of miscommunication from what it seems, and from the surface of it all, and what we've gotten to see from the footage, everything like that. It just seems like things were perpetuated, things weren't handled properly, things got out of hand, obviously, and just a tragic thing that happened. Yeah, the GoFundMe, there is a link that you guys can check out too, and he's up to $50,000. Over $50,000 has already been raised for Stu, and I know Mr. Beast, the YouTuber, I think is going to help in the situation as well. So all the best to Stu Smith as well. But yeah, I wanted to get your perspective on that. No, we got a lot to talk about though in the world of wrestling as well. That includes AEW and New Japan Forbidden Door. Robert, I did not watch this event. I'm aware of what happened. I saw some of the clips of what happened as well. But what did you overall think of the presentation of the show? I caught what you and Scott had to say, but fill the rumor and innuendos in on it.
Yeah, so you can hear our sort of Scott and I did a full breakdown of Forbidden Door on the Working Stiff Patreon. We went into all the matches and all that. I think just at a very high level, not saying anything controversial out of line here. It was a solid show. I thought it was a well run, well put together event. Um, the presentation, it looked great. They framed that arena perfectly. There's about 19,000 people there. It looked like a full building. It was shot well. Brian Danielson on commentary can be a little jarring, and I love Brian Danielson. I think he's great on commentary. However, um, he does that thing that some commentators do, and this is sort of WWE training. They always say you don't want to turn it around and make it entirely about you. There were 5 or 6 instances in the night where Brian would talk about, well, when I wrestled this guy, when I faced this guy, when I did something with this guy, and rather than telling the story of the match. So that's a Tazism, that's a JBLism where they don't tend to do that very often. unless it's noteworthy. Like, I remember when I was in the ring with this guy and I got hit, what it felt like, versus you're trying to put yourself over. And it's like, well, it's Zack Sabre Jr. versus Nigel McGuinness and Danny Garcia. I've wrestled all three of these guys. And it's like, okay, that's great, but focus on the story in the ring. Um, the the sad part of the show is coming out of it, they are lesser than they were going into it. Namely, both Will Ospreay and Swerve Strickland were seemingly written off TV.
Mhm.
So there's some rumor and innuendo reports that Swerve is going in for some sort of knee procedure. Will Ospreay is having a neck procedure done of some sort. So um, it stinks that those are two of the guys they really should have been focusing on, and we were excited about seeing where the focus is going forward, and now they're not on AEW programming going forward. And you look at, okay, well, what's our replacement? Where are we going next? Coming off of Forbidden Door, you had Moxley murder Ospreay, so now you want to see Ospreay get revenge on Moxley. When the story you were hoping they were going to be telling was you wanted to see Darby get his revenge on Moxley, since that was who returned to help Hangman win at their WrestleMania 40 Redux.
Mhm. Right.
So yeah,
But no, Robert, it's a great point because yeah, you have your two of your top baby faces, not counting Hangman Page, and Osprey and Swerve. They're going to be written off television. What is next? Darby wasn't necessarily set up in the best manner, I don't think, on this show. I will say from the outsider perspective of somebody who did not watch the pay per view, but something that really hit my radar was that clip of that fork to the side of the ear, and that was an immediate turn off for me. Like it did not build me any incentive to go and watch the pay-per-view any further. And I just think it was an awful spot that really puts a ceiling on AEW and what it can do moving forward if they continue to do this kind of crap.
it does. It's a degree of mutilation that you do have an audience of people who are going to go out of their way to go see that type of deathmatch situation. I think our friends at GCW will do a death match that's going to go a little bit more on the extreme side. This was a match that had a gummy bear spot in it. The idea was that production replaced the bag of tacks or whatever that the Bucks were going to use with gummy bears, and then they did a gummy bear spot. And then that same match, you had this fork mutilation. I would not have done it. First, I didn't think it was necessary. You already had a lot of violence in the show. And second, the show ending with the brutal attack on Will Ospreay needed to be your takeaway, not, my God, did you see the stabbing the guy with a fork?
And Robert, do you think though too they're echoing the same sentiment where it happened? Daniel Bryan getting taken out by the Death Riders, like this just feels so same storyline, more Death Riders, more John Moxley getting the upper hand. It doesn't set you up well here in the future with AEW and what it creates interest in watching their programming, I think.
It was also strange because you had the MJF Hangman Page match, and obviously we're big MJF fans on this show. I don't think
Yes.
that's much of a surprise. We're Hangman. I see a lot of potential in Hangman to be a Shawn Michaels type guy. I think there's some things that may be holding him back. We've seen these guys wrestle. We saw them wrestle a couple months ago, and they kind of stole the show.
Yeah.
This match relied a lot on over the top kind of comedy and sports entertainment spots, with this disqualification and count out rule being put into effect, that it made this lesser than. And the build up, the creative going into this match didn't feel rock solid. And now we're in a situation where Max still has this contract that he can cash in, but he can't cash in right away. He has to give 1 week's notice. So we're retrofitting the rule because Tony suddenly realized, oh, there's another company that does something very similar. But that's money in the bank. And guys, speaking of money in the bank, we've got a brand new sponsor that's going to help you with your money. That is our friends over at Cash App. You have a graphic there you want to throw up on the screen, Dom, or a
Yeah,
lower third or
unfortunately, it's
something?
not a lower third, so you got to see this
Oh, it's
graphic.
a whole. I'll put it up for a second so we can
Robert's
take a look
favorite.
at it. Yes, what is it? Oh man, we're using the picture.
Yep.
All right, I'm gonna read the copy while you have that beautiful logo up there for a minute. I actually have Cash App on my phone. I have used Cash App. I love Cash App. I have some vendors who do work for me at the house. Cash App is the only thing that they do. It makes my life simpler, and it gives me the confidence that when I'm transferring money, it's getting to who I want it to get to. Cash App does more than you think when it comes to having your back and making sure your money stays your money. If you direct deposit at least $300 in paychecks each month and use the Cash App card for purchases, you can unlock up to $200 in free overdraft coverage. If you overdraft unexpectedly, there are no hidden fees. Manage your money on your terms and take advantage of free overdraft coverage up to $200 on Cash App today. There is no bigger pain in the ass than when you get hit with an overdraft fee. I have had this happen to me before where I thought my paycheck was landing on a certain time and it was, oh, it doesn't land at midnight. It lands at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, but the bill gets taken out at midnight for an auto pay and you get hit with that overdraft. It's a huge pain in the ass. You don't have to worry about that with your friends at Cash App. You can do a $300 deposit. And for a limited time only, new Cash App customers can use our exclusive code to earn some additional cash. Seriously, just download Cash App, use our exclusive referral code Cash App 10 in your profile. Send $5 to a friend within 14 days. You get $10 dropped right into your account. Terms apply. That's money. That's Cash App. Cash App is a financial service platform, not a bank. Banking services provided by Cash App's bank partners. Prepaid debit card issued by Sutton Bank. Member FDIC. Direct deposit, roundups, overdraft coverage, and discounts provided by Cash App. A Block Inc. brand. Visit cash.app/legal/podcast for full disclosures. Okay, we can take the Hamburglar managing photo that was on there. Cash App, though, is the real deal. Appreciate you guys supporting our show. And not a bad idea.
No, not a bad idea at all. I love Cash App too. You guys should try it out. I have the app on my phone as well. So be sure to use that code and help support the show in that manner. Robert.
What?
Somebody that did return to Forbidden Door, understated, Wardlow is back.
Dude, what the actual Wardlow?
Yeah, he's back. He's with the Don Callis family. If you're
Who isn't with the Don Callis family, by the way?
I know. I think I'm gonna have some family members that are there now too. But listen, you talked about losing Will Ospreay and Swerve. Wouldn't this have been a good moment to bring Wardlow back in a big babyface manner?
You know, here's where I'm a little confused.
Mm-hmm.
Call me crazy. Number one, the last time we really saw Wardlow in a serious position was in the MJF storyline.
Mm-hmm.
Then towards the end, he was doing stuff with Adam Cole and his group, which didn't make a lot of sense, and we're just going to push that off to the wayside. You could have easily brought Wardlow back in the Hangman Page MJF match, where he could have cold cocked Hangman. It's a disqualification. Hangman retains, screws MJF. And now you've got Wardlow and MJF.
Perfect.
You could have brought Wardlow back to attack Swerve during the match and take him out.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, you had Okada beat Swerve clean, which was a weird decision, then have Wardlow come out and attack, only to then join the Don Callis family.
It just speaks to like building stars there.
Wardlow is a star who did not have a star return moment.
Mm-mm.
Hopefully we'll see more about that, but that is that's a Wednesday Dynamite problem.
It is a Wednesday Dynamite problem.
That's when we got Justin Barrasso on tomorrow. We can talk about it.
We'll be talking about that for sure. But yeah, Robert, let's talk a little bit about that go home episode of Monday Night Raw before Clash in Paris.
Yeah. By the way, that yawn, unintentional yet surprisingly on point.
I heard you talk about SmackDown a little bit too on the Patreon, and
well, I did talk about Raw in detail on Something to Sports Entertainment with, which should be available now on the Working Stiff Patreon. Look at that, Dom. Mm-hmm. But y'all are here now. Here's the take. Here's the thought. Remember that yawn about a minute ago?
Right.
Show. They are building towards a fairly lame duck PLE, which is fine. You know, Clash in Paris on paper looks like a more impressive show than it actually is. You know, you say, well, you're getting a 4-way match for the men's title. You're getting one of John Cena's last matches. You're getting a Roman Reigns match. You're getting a women's intercontinental title match. Cool. but the totality, the sum of the parts don't equal a total show. Raw last night was a way to entertain that crowd who was white hot, who did their job. And when you're booking a European Raw or European SmackDown, the rule generally is your live crowd is not going to be watching live. Your U.S. domestic based crowd. Usually it's a taped show. SmackDown was obviously a pre-taped show. That's why they were able to re-edit that finish, the John Cena bit. But Raw with the Netflix world, they're feeder into camps. So they usually operate in the idea that someone's going to time shift. I watch Raw at 8. I'm going to pull it up on Netflix at 8 o'clock. At 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm working. I'm in school. I'm in my office. I'm doing whatever it is Dom does. Like, we're busy.
Yeah.
Busy helping Rob Van Dam defend criminals. Like, we got stuff to do. We got important things going on. So if I'm going to watch Raw at 8 o'clock, I know that there's going to be spoilers that are going to be out in advance. So I'm not going to have anything truly groundbreaking and important happen on the show. So I'm going to lean on big time matches. And if on paper you tell people you're going to get Rhea Ripley versus Roxanne Perez, that's an intriguing match. JD McDonough and Dragon Lee, you know they're going to go quickly. It's going to be a lot of fun. Penta versus Kofi. I mean, again, on paper, in theory, that sounds intriguing. AJ Styles, Finn Balor. There you go. And then LA Knight and Braun Breaker. If you would have told me that list of matches, and I would have said the match that wound up being the most impressive was a Braun Breaker LA Knight match, you would have assumed I'm on whatever Dom is on. But I'm not. LA Knight was not great. This was the best I've seen LA Knight.
Wow.
This was a dude who felt supremely motivated. He still did not feel like he belonged in that spot, but he did his damnedest to try.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was like that moment where he did like tease the Steiner. Oh my God, the Frankensteiner spot that Braun does, but his signature move was nice. I thought it was nice. But yeah, Robert, what did you think of how that closed out and then building tension with Punk and LA Knight and everybody involved in it, Jey Uso as well, and Seth relishing in all that as well? Did you like that to close things out, or was that just kind of paint by numbers expected here when you're in a European territory for Raw?
I mean, they as far as they're concerned, they gave you the big go home moment, which is everybody's in the ring. Oh my gosh, there's mass chaos, dogs and cats living together. Jey Uso just super kicks CM Punk. Nobody's on anybody's side. Anybody can win. Tune in to In Your House this Sunday.
Yeah.
Joseph Wade Walters says, I want to talk about how they're using Starry Night for the promotion when it doesn't make geographical sense. Okay. Starry Night is a representation of a place in France. It's not Paris. It was the view outside of the I believe it was the mental hospital that Van Gogh was stationed in.
He seemed all right, though. Pretty stable. It
is technically on display in Paris. So you can go see it in D'Orsay. In the museum, you can go see Starry Night. It's there. I did pass AP art history when I was in high school.
According right now, Robert, so it was painted while in an asylum in Saint Remy, France.
Yeah.
According to AI, so take this for what you will. The painting is housed at the Museum of Modern Art in New York City right now.
Oh, I thought it was at the D'Orsay.
No. Currently, it's in NYC.
Is it MoMA? I should have known. I was just in MoMA.
But look, I buy into that. Like, if it's in France, what city do you think of when you think of France? You think of Paris. So I'm all right with it. Doesn't bug me at all. I liked it. I like the word for it.
I think of Paris, Texas. That's just me. That's a great underrated film right there.
Paris. I've never seen it.
Really?
Mm-mm.
It's a weird, interesting movie.
Who directs that?
It's oh my gosh. I'm gonna say it wrong, so I want to make sure that So it's Wim Wenders. It's spelled Wim Wenders, but it's Wim Wenders. I'm not gonna be able to say it. It's a bizarre movie. Sam Shepard wrote it.
Sam Shepard, that makes sense.
Yeah, so it's a great film.
All right,
but yes, this is that was Wenders was one of those. This is one of those movies that like Mark Maron talked about for years in WTF, and he's like, you got to see, you got to see, you got to see, you got to see it. So I watched it and I was like, oh, I'm glad I saw this. Harry Dean Stanton. I like Harry Dean
Oh,
Stanton.
he's
He's just
awesome.
a,
He's
yeah.
great.
I feel like you and him would have gotten along.
I think so. I think we would have too. I
You
love to
are,
see him separate plays too. So
are you a True North guy?
I like the Lonesome West. Is that what it is? Lone West, whichever that. Because I'm mixing that up with Martin McDonough, but it's about the two brothers in
That's
Arizona.
all
What
right.
is it?
Anyway, the brother that we care about here is Jey Uso.
Yes.
Jey Uso throwing the super kick. Roman did a really nice job on on the opening segment of almost making you care about Bronson Reed. You know, this could have gone one of two ways.
Hmm.
This could have either gone the route of what we typically got from The Rock, which is, who the hell are you? You're a nobody. You're a joke. And then I squash you.
Hmm.
Roman is working hard here to say, like, hey, the Vision, you guys took my wise man from me. I don't have my bloodline anymore. You guys have the numbers on me. You guys have the world title. I don't have the world title. Seth has done everything he can to strip me of everything that I care about, and I'm coming for revenge. And Bronson Reed, you're in my way, and I'm gonna take you down. I feel like they gave Bronson Reed a lot more credibility than you would have expected in this. They put them on par with one another, which was a really smart idea. And while there really is no doubt about what's ultimately going to happen at Clash in Paris, they did a decent, I think, a decent chance of building a bit of intrigue, and that's what we tune in for here every Monday through Friday at noon Eastern. Tomorrow we will be back with Mr. Justin Barrasso, who will enlighten us with his thoughts on Forbidden Door and Raw and all the other news that's fit to print. So, on behalf, you're already saluting. You don't even know who I'm saying. I could be on behalf of Harry Dean Stanton,
Oh,
wherever
hey,
you are. I'm Robert Carpolis. Best of luck in your future endeavors.
Harry Dean Stanton for life, everybody. Boom.